Oh, yeah. Welcome to Wrestling Uncensored. I'm Dave Simon. He's Johnny North. RingsideReport.net is the website. That's where you can catch everything that we do. You can watch us on YouTube. You can like the video. You can leave a comment. You can subscribe to the channel if you're already here watching us. Thank you if you're listening to us on the radio. There's so much going on at RingsideReport.net. Do watch-alongs for all the WWE pay-per-views, all the big events in the UFC, in the WWE, and all that is available at RingsideReport.net. We were live during WWE's Elimination Chamber this past Sunday in Philadelphia, and it almost seems like a distant memory back in the day when we used to have shows live in front of people. And it doesn't seem like we're living in that world today. It's a new reality right now with the coronavirus, and we're going to have to talk about that here on the show. You can't avoid it no matter where you go. It's affecting professional sports, and it's affecting professional wrestling as well. Smackdown going down at the WWE Performance Center this weekend. Not in Detroit, Michigan. The fate of Monday Night Raw, obviously in jeopardy for the foreseeable future. Raw coming up supposedly in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania on Monday. That likely will be moved or canceled altogether. We're seeing a lot of things that are showing up in empty arenas and then just being canceled. The Bellator show that was supposed to happen this weekend in an empty arena in Connecticut, that was just outright canceled. There's a lot of cancellations. A lot of people are scared. There's a lot of worry going on. We're going to try and stick to professional wrestling as much as we can over the next hour here. I know that people are scared. I want to try and take your mind off of the coronavirus a little bit. Talk about wrestling, what happened on Raw, what happened on NXT, on AEW, on SmackDown, what's going on in the WWE, but we also have to talk about what will happen here for the WWE, and will we have a WrestleMania? We went into that at length on this week's episode of Dave and Johnny Live that you can catch on the YouTube channel, but obviously, you know, that's the main story. That's what's going on right now. The coronavirus is bigger than professional wrestling. It's bigger than MMA. It's the biggest thing going in the world right now, and you know, people are scared, and people need to be very cautious. You need to wash your hands. You need to, you know, avoid large assemblies, and WrestleMania is a super large assembly, and it's supposed to take place in 3 weeks' time. So that is where we are right now. I want to talk about AJ Styles' tremendous promo on The Undertaker this week. Great stuff from Uncle Allen. I want to talk about AEW, what's going on there. They're making some changes, but they still have some shows right now scheduled as far as we know, and some pretty big shows coming up in 2 weeks' time in now Jacksonville, Florida. Was supposed to be in Newark, New Jersey, but on the 25th of the month, AEW is supposed to do their Blood and Guts. Daniel Bryan was talking about Blood and Guts as well, and we could talk a little bit about Daniel Bryan's tremendous match at Elimination Chamber that stole the show. But first, let's talk a little bit about WrestleMania and the likelihood that it goes down. We talked about it, you know, at length again on Dave and Johnny Live, but it's a top story this week in professional wrestling, the coronavirus, and what this will mean for the WWE's touring schedule over the next 3 weeks, and especially what it will mean for WrestleMania. I think if WrestleMania had already happened, like if WrestleMania was last weekend,
right, okay,
the WWE could shut down for 3 weeks, and it'd be like, yeah, all right, fine. But because WrestleMania is coming up, because WrestleMania is the biggest show of the year, and it's in 3 weeks' time, and we're starting to wonder if it's going to happen, the city of Tampa says they're going to give a decision next week when we're 2 weeks away from WrestleMania. So I think the WWE could possibly shut down, and if this thing continues, if they do have WrestleMania, they'll shut down after Mania. If we're still in the same situation, if not worse. You know, if things are getting better, then yeah, they'll keep going and it'll be fine, and hopefully things do get better. We don't know. No one really knows how far this thing is gonna go. Right now, the whole world is being very cautious and trying to slow this thing down to a crawl, and hopefully we can do that and get rid of this thing. But for right now, things seem to be escalating, right? So things seem to be moving in the other direction, not the slowing, but the speeding up, and more cases and more people and, more sickness, right? So looking at 3 weeks from now, WrestleMania, it doesn't seem like a likely event. I don't think it happens right now. I do not think WrestleMania will happen in front of 80,000 people in a stadium in Tampa Bay, Florida on April 5th. I don't think it's going to happen this year.
You might be right. WrestleMania is definitely in jeopardy this year. It's a horrible situation. The NHL is canceled. NBA is canceled. MLB is postponed for a couple of weeks.
At least.
XFL got canceled.
MLS, all the sports leagues, everything, all events, everything's getting canceled.
It's rough.
Concerts, festivals, shows, everything, comedy, everything's getting canceled.
But props to Vince.
Not Wrestling Uncensored.
No,
we're staying on. We are staying on. We are not getting canceled. We will keep talking wrestling. We'll keep telling you what's happening with the WWE, with the coronavirus updates. We're staying on. We are not taking a single break. We will be on the YouTube channel. If the radio stations go all corona all the time, well, and they decide to pull Wrestling Uncensored for one reason or another, you can always find us at ringsidereport.net. We are not going anywhere during this thing. I know that a lot of people are out there at home looking for some entertainment. Hopefully we can provide some entertainment here on Wrestling Uncensored and on the Ringside Report Network. So we're not going anywhere. A lot of shows are canceling. Everybody's staying home. Thankfully, the studio sometimes, very close to home. So not too bad. Works out for me.
It is kind of a great situation for you. But also for Vince, too. I mean, Vince is the only game in town now, if you think about it. I think he knows that.
Him and the UFC.
Yeah, that's true. The UFC is still going on.
The UFC is still going on, as far as we know.
Because when you look at what to watch now, week to week, what's new and live, WWE and UFC, that's it.
I mean, it's not bad for us, I guess. I mean, it's terrible. It's a terrible situation, but I mean, thinking about it, okay, well, if the UFC and the WWE are the only things going on, well, at least we still have content to talk about. There's still going to be a reason to listen to Ringside Report, and Wrestling Uncensored still a reason to watch the channel because we're going to have content. Hopefully we still have content, but at this point, I don't even know. At this point, it feels irresponsible for the WWE and the UFC to even be putting their own performers and their own employees at risk by putting on this content.
Forgot to mention AEW as well. They're also continuing for the next 2 weeks at least, it seems.
Yeah. AEW as well.
It's amazing.
I'm not sure that those shows are really going to happen.
I think they will.
They're announcing these shows, these two AEW shows that are supposed to happen over the next 2 weeks. I'm skeptical that those happen. If WrestleMania doesn't happen, you really think AEW Dynamite needs to happen?
Unless something drastic happens and things get worse, I don't think we're getting cancellations for these shows.
I don't see things don't seem to be getting better, but I'm hopeful, and hopefully things do get better before they get worse,
right?
And everything's fine. I don't want things to get worse at all. Let's make sure things get better, right? Let's be optimistic here. However, everything's shutting down, and it's getting a little scary. So I don't think WrestleMania is going to go down. I don't think Raw is going to happen on Monday from any kind of arena. I don't think the WWE is going to do any arena shows. I don't think they'll be in New Orleans on Friday. I don't think that they'll be in Fort Worth next Monday. They won't be in Chicago. Definitely on the 27th. It's not going to happen. Atlanta, Georgia on the 30th. Probably not happening for Raw. SmackDown in Tampa on the 3rd. That could happen because right now Tampa is allowing it, but I'd say that's going to be canceled too. I'm canceling everything for the WWE for the rest of the month. I mean, they're not doing it. I'll do it for you, Vince. I'll take the bullet for you, pal. I'm canceling all WWE shows for the rest of the month due to coronavirus.
Aren't officials in Tampa supposed to give us word? Right now it's we'll wait and see kind of thing right now, and then in a week's time we'll see what happens.
Next week.
So we'll see by next show for sure.
Yeah, by next week's episode of Wrestling Uncensored, we'll have an answer as to whether or not the city of Tampa Bay is going to allow WrestleMania to go on.
I think
when is the last time? I mean, this has never happened. This is unprecedented, and that's why everybody's scrambling right now and nobody knows what to do. Especially in the WWE, everybody's just like, what do we do, man? WrestleMania, the whole year depends on WrestleMania. Everything builds to WrestleMania. And everything's kind of timed to build to WrestleMania. All these stories are kind of building towards this one event. And if you don't have the event, how do you proceed story-wise? How do you proceed? What do you do if you don't have a WrestleMania show?
Well, they still have shows going on, right? Performance Center more than likely is going to happen. Raw, SmackDown weekly. It's probably going to happen.
For now.
For now.
I don't know if this is going to be a thing that goes on like even Monday. Even Monday, they might not have Raw.
I think
at all.
I think from the Performance Center, I think it's going to happen.
Skeptical.
Now, as far as WrestleMania,
because things that at first they're like, yeah, we're going to do this, no crowd.
right?
And then they said, yeah, we're just not going to do it at all. Like a lot of these no crowd shows are turning into straight up cancellations. So maybe they do it for one night, maybe they do it for two, but long term, I don't think it's going to keep going.
I imagine they have a backup plan for WrestleMania. They want this to happen. It's like you said, like after WrestleMania, they can maybe shut down for a couple weeks, but they need WrestleMania to happen. And if they have to delay WrestleMania, that's not a bad thing too. As long as it happens, a big event like WrestleMania, it's a win for everybody.
You can shut down TV for a couple weeks.
Right.
When WrestleMania is ready to happen, you do a week of TV to get you ready for it, and then you have Mania.
Maybe two, but
just one. Everybody will be just so amped up to see something like that again. Nobody's going to want to wait.
As long as they
give
know
us a week and, give us a week's TV in Tampa, Raw, SmackDown in Tampa, and then give us Mania on the Sunday and, when everything's ready. That's what I would do. I'd just delay it. I would stop production. I would stop everything in WWE now. I'd say, nope, we're not putting anybody at risk. We're not doing anything. Everybody go home. You're going to keep getting paid. Everybody go home. And when everything's cool, everything's calmed down, then we're going to go back on the road. We're going to go back to Tampa. We're going to do big shows in Tampa, Raw, SmackDown, WrestleMania on the weekend, and then we'll go back to business. But for right now, I would shut down the WWE. And that is never been done. Never in the history of the company.
And Vince doesn't want to do that. It's like last resort.
He does not. Are you kidding me?
He's fighting it. I love it that he's fighting it.
It's classic Vince.
You got to respect that.
I mean, Vince McMahon and the WWE did a live episode of SmackDown in Houston, Texas on September 13th, 2001. 2 days after 9/11. No one wanted to assemble. No one wanted to. Everybody thought more stuff was going to happen. Everybody was scared, right? You remember, it was a crazy time.
It was.
Right?
Yes.
No one assembled. All sports were canceled. It was kind of like this, right? But Vince, 2 days, they were supposed to do the SmackDown taping on the Tuesday night of 9/11. It was a Tuesday. So Vince said, okay, I guess we can't do it tonight, pal. They waited 2 days, and then they did it. It was the first large grouping of people in America after 9/11. SmackDown. That's Vince McMahon. That's Vince McMahon all day. Vince McMahon is defiant. Vince McMahon wants to continue business as usual. The show does not stop for the WWE. It has never stopped for the WWE. It never stops for Vince McMahon. I don't know what Vince would do with himself if he had to stop production for 2 weeks.
It was a different situation, though. He defended that as like patriotism, as in like we can't give in to the fear.
What's this?
Different situation. Well, I don't know. Well, this is more of like it's tradition, I think. This has to happen.
Tradition of putting your wrestlers at risk?
Well, not so much
is that the tradition that he's trying to follow? I don't understand why the WWE is still going on right now. I don't know.
Well, money is a huge factor, obviously.
I think they should shut down. Everybody else is shutting down. You don't think the NBA is losing money?
I'm sure a lot of people have lost money.
Everybody's losing money.
The XFL is going to lose money.
The whole economy is...
Vince is losing money already.
So the XFL players get to go home
and get paid.
And get paid. The wrestlers have to stay on the road?
Yep, that's exactly it. Again, XFL players, employees. Wrestlers, independent contractors. Different situation.
Seems pretty terrible.
Well, that's the contract you sign. Like, Don't be an idiot and sign a stupid contract.
Oh, well then don't work for the WWE?
Well, that's it. It's better to be a football player. You get better benefits, no?
Yeah, but, you're not a football player. What would you do? You'd sign the contract.
Yeah, I would, because I don't mind. I have no complaint. I wouldn't complain about it.
Well, you'd wrestle in a room full of coronavirus. You're not scared.
I wouldn't want to.
If you knew that somebody in the crowd of one of your matches might have coronavirus, are you walking through the curtain?
I would tell security you got to kick the guy out, actually.
Just kick that guy out?
Yeah, kick that guy out.
But one guy, he might have given it to other people.
You never know, though. We still don't know that about
So just the one
virus.
guy.
We've seen that with other people. Like, someone's been affected, but their family members aren't affected, so.
Yeah.
But if you know for
maybe.
sure, get rid of them for sure.
All right, Big Johnny. So we don't know what's going to happen with the WWE and the coronavirus. It doesn't look good for shows going forward. It really doesn't. We're going to continue to monitor the situation, obviously, and we're going to continue to bring you Wrestling Uncensored on a weekly basis, and we'll try and figure out what's going on. And if there's no wrestling, well, we'll talk about the past of wrestling. There's always wrestling stuff to talk about, You and I could talk wrestling forever. We could just talk about how awesome Bret Hart is for a long time, right?
We could do that, but thankfully we have new content every week right now scheduled, so we're okay for now.
Let's start with something that I wanted to talk about last week, but we didn't have time as far as WWE programming. Let's keep it light. Eric Rowan Spider. So last week, Eric Rowan revealed that the thing in the box, the cage that he's been carrying around for months now, was some sort of giant mechanical spider.
Right.
It's supposed to be not mechanical, but obviously it was mechanical. Like, the legs were moving around. It looked cheap, too. It looked terrible.
It was a bad idea.
This week, Drew McIntyre has a match with Eric Rowan, and as part of the great build for Drew McIntyre and his match with Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania, he grabbed the steel steps and smashed the crate thing that the spider was in. So he killed the spider. Yeah, what's he doing that to Eric Rowan? Rowan looked really mad, and then Drew hit the Claymore kicked on him and still beat him via pinfall.
Like, he's not a good guy? Like,
no, Drew's a jerk.
Why would you that?
I hope Brock gets revenge for Eric Rowan's pet.
I guess some people didn't like the gimmick, obviously, or like the idea of the spider, so kill it off and everyone will cheer that. But the way it was done, I didn't like that. It just made Drew look like a jerk.
I don't think it did Drew any favors, right? And he's supposed to be built as this top babyface for Brock. Like, you're supposed to want Drew McIntyre to beat Brock Lesnar. Do you?
I'd like to see something different. Yeah, sure.
You're going to get a lot of something different after WrestleMania. Things, if we have WrestleMania, things will happen, titles will change hands. You're going to get a lot of different.
I don't see that.
Do you need Brock to not be champion anymore?
To pass on to someone new, yeah. You definitely need that because you're getting Goldberg and Roman Reigns. You're not getting anything new with that.
Well, Roman will be the Universal Champion.
We've been there, done that many times.
They've never given Roman that big, long run where he's like the champion and unstoppable on top. He's been champion, but he's never had a solid run as champion.
We don't need that. Honestly, like long reigns.
It's Roman
like
Reigns, man. You have to do it.
No,
At some point in his career, he has to have a long run with the title if he's going to be looked at as this great champion. He's the next Hogan, Cena, Roman. Like, that's the lineage that we're following here. Hogan had a long run, one of the longest runs ever. Cena had a long run. He had a lot of short runs, but he also had a nice long one, a couple.
He had a very long run.
Yeah. And Roman still hasn't had a lengthy run on top as champion. And I think it's long overdue, quite frankly. It'll be a way to build him as that top guy.
It's different,
They've
though.
struggled to build Roman.
You have more pay-per-views, more events. It's hard to keep a champion for so long. Brock works because Brock's never there. So when Brock shows up, it's kind of a big deal. But Roman's there every week. It's going to get tiresome very quickly.
Depends who his opponents are. Depends what the stories are.
He's on SmackDown. Like, who's on SmackDown? You have Sheamus and Daniel Bryan, and then that's it.
Yeah, The Fiend, still hasn't happened.
Okay, you got 3. So they're going to stretch that out for 3 pay-per-views. So, yeah, okay, you can get a year out of this stuff, but...
That's what I'm talking about, a year. There you go. There's your year.
It's not a great
3
year.
Fiend matches, 3 Sheamus matches, maybe a Daniel Bryan match thrown in there, Maybe you get to wrestle John Cena. Maybe a rematch with Goldberg or something. Bada bing, bada boom. That's a year of Roman Reigns on top as the champion, and it's not so bad. Roman and Sheamus would have good matches.
Maybe. You don't know that for sure.
They might have good matches. Good. Stylistically, they make sense, though. You know, they're both heavy hitters. Sheamus is a guy who hits really hard. Some people who've wrestled him say maybe too hard. And Roman, he's a very tough guy. He's one of the toughest guys in the WWE as far as durability and being able to take a vicious beating. The Brock Lesnar matches that he's had, you know, he's shown that he's very tough. What he lacks in technique as far as a professional wrestler, he more than makes up for in the look and the endurance department. Like the guy, maybe not like cardio-wise, but even cardio-wise, he's pretty good.
He's pretty good.
He doesn't seem tired out most of his matches. He's always able to lift the guys, do his lifts, you know, when he needs to do his lifts. And as far as taking a beating, there are a few in the WWE that can take a beating like Roman Reigns. You got to give it to him. You know, people will take away a lot from Roman Reigns, but there are things that he does very, very well, and take a beating is one of them. So Sheamus and Roman, I think, could do business together. That, you know, it wouldn't be so bad. 3 pay-per-views of that, 3 pay-per-views of The Fiend. Like I said, Daniel Bryan, maybe Cena. That's a year.
Like The Fiend's the only thing that's kind of new just because it's a different gimmick. We've seen Roman and Sheamus before. We've seen Roman Daniel Bryan before. This isn't anything new. Drew McIntyre, that's new.
Okay, so Drew is new, and Drew is what you want. So you think Drew McIntyre is going to beat Brock Lesnar for the championship at Mania?
I do.
I kind of don't.
Why not?
I don't know. I feel like they're building him up just to build somebody up for Brock to squash at Mania. I think this is going to be another Brock beating Drew at Mania. This is just Brock beating another guy. This is just another guy for Brock. Every time that Drew has got the upper hand on Brock, it's been kind of underhanded. You know, it hasn't been straight up.
Last time was straight up.
Kind of. He hit him with one kick when Brock was Brock tried to do a surprise attack on Drew and it backfired, you know, but he's not going to be doing a surprise. Yeah, Brock, maybe he made a mistake, right? Okay. Brock, like, he was pretending to leave the ring, and then he turned around to go and attack Drew, but Drew was ready for it, and he hit Brock. Brock wasn't thinking that Drew was going to be ready for him. So even then, it's not a match, you know, where Brock knows that Drew is looking at him and Brock's looking at him. All I'm saying is Drew has still not really defeated Brock straight up, and I feel like at some point, if it's not WrestleMania, I don't know when. I mean, it's weird talking about Mania at this point because I have no idea if it's going to happen. But, you know, if Mania does happen, I'm not sure that Drew is going to beat Brock because I think Brock is going to get his hands on Drew and, you know, he's still Brock Lesnar and they're still going to use him going forward as a top star. So I think maybe build Drew up to this point where he's looked at as a credible threat and then at Mania kind of shock people. I mean, what have you really done here? You needed a match for Brock. You wanted to build Drew McIntyre, kind of. So you build him up to the point where people think, like, if I told you before the Royal Rumble Drew McIntyre was going to beat Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania, you would have laughed in my face.
No, not really. He was actually one of my picks, remember? Like, I wanted Kevin.
One of your picks. But it was less likely and less believable in fans' eyes before the Rumble. Since the Rumble, they've done a pretty decent job of maybe not building Drew to be the top babyface on Raw, but at least building him to the point where you believe he might beat Brock Lesnar at Mania.
They've done a very good job.
So mission accomplished. So you believe it, and then when it doesn't happen, you're surprised. Brock shocks you again, just like he did when he beat Undertaker, just like, you know, he does a lot of times when you think he's going to lose, and then he wins. Remember when he wrestled Roman Reigns at WrestleMania, and everybody thought he'd lose, and then he won?
Right.
That was crazy. Beating Drew is nothing compared to that. Nothing.
Yeah, but it hurts Drew more by not winning the championship. Because he'll probably never win the championship if he can't beat Brock. And it means more to beat Brock at WrestleMania. It should happen. Roman can come back.
I don't think you need to elevate Drew to that level.
I think you should.
Why?
Because I think if you ever want to make new main event stars, you have the opportunity. You're finally going to do it. Don't do this little shock and awe like, oh, it's not going to happen. because that's how you kill a star. Make a star instead.
How about make yourself into a star?
I think he has.
Really?
I mean, he looks like $1 million.
Is he over?
Getting there.
How many weeks has he looked untouchable, super strong? And it's 3 weeks out from WrestleMania, the biggest match of his life. And I ask you if he's over, and you tell me he's getting there? Will he be there in 3 weeks? Will he be there on April 5th?
I hope
Will
so.
he be over on April 5th? Which is the question again, like I asked you. Do you think people will want to see Drew beat Brock at Mania? And if he's not over, they won't. I want to see Brock beat Drew. It'd be funny. You build Drew, everybody thinks, oh, Drew, he's a new star. And then Brock just destroys him. See what he did to Ricochet?
Yeah, I saw what he's Ricochet.
It'll be similar.
I hope not. Drew should win.
I disagree.
All right. Well,
Roman should win and then remain on top for a year.
well, I can't see Roman not winning, right?
Just like Becky. He's the male Becky.
And Becky's probably going to lose.
No.
Yeah, Shayna should win.
Becky wins forever. Shayna should only win if Ronda helps her.
I don't know about that. I just
Shayna should not win straight up. It doesn't make sense.
you got to look at it. Becky's beating everybody. Someone's got to beat her.
No.
Fine, just be champion forever.
Yeah.
Sure.
She's a top star in the WWE. She's the man, Becky Lynch. She's the biggest superstar that they've created in the past couple of years. Come on. Becky Lynch. She's the number one. She's a top star on Raw. She's the top champion in the WWE. She's the best. She beats Shayna. She beats Shayna. You only beat Becky if Ronda comes back. Even then, maybe not. Charlotte beats Becky
No, Charlotte
in
beats,
like 2 years.
Charlotte beats Ripley.
Yeah, now. But I'm talking about down the road. I'm saying Becky stays on top for a while. It's Becky Lynch. It's a different thing with Becky Lynch.
It's been too long already. to
No,
be
I
honest.
disagree.
A year.
She's been champion for a year. Why can't she be champion for 2 or 3? Breaking all the records.
Because you can
Unstoppable.
build someone up like Shayna into another star. It doesn't hurt you taking a big loss. If anything, you coming back from a big loss is even better. Look at Austin.
I think it would help her even more if she won.
Austin against Brett. That was his biggest loss, but it was also his greatest victory in a sense.
He was on the come up, though.
Right?
Becky's already up. When you're up, you win. When you're up, you keep winning. Ask Hulk Hogan. Ask John Cena. When you're up, you stay on top. You don't lose. Everybody thinks you might lose. You don't lose. You've been champion for a year. Everybody thinks you're champion for too long. You're champion for 3 years. Forget everybody. Come on, man. We're talking about Becky Lynch. It's a different situation when you're talking about Becky. You can't think of her as just any other women's champion. She's not. She's beyond that. She's bigger than that. She's like a Hulk Hogan. Like, Becky has been more successful at getting over than Roman Reigns has or Seth Rollins has. You know, those are the male equivalents to Becky Lynch and Charlotte Flair right now. And you look at Charlotte and Becky, they're bigger stars. They're more widely accepted as being top stars than those other guys.
That's fair, sure. But
Becky is a mega star. Keep the title on her forever.
you could make Shayna into a megastar too.
I don't think you can.
Oh, I definitely think
She doesn't
you
have
can.
the personality.
They made her into Brock in one night.
No, they didn't.
That Elimination Chamber where she just eliminated everybody.
They made her look strong, but they didn't make her Brock. Brock's got something else that Shayna doesn't have. Charisma.
Well, on German suplexes.
You see what Becky said? Becky said that Shayna is a scumbag and a black hole of charisma. And, you know, she's not that wrong. I mean, I wouldn't say a black hole of charisma, but she's got nowhere near the charisma of a Becky Lynch or a Charlotte Flair. Like, Shayna is tough and Shayna is intimidating, but as far as, like, personality, promos, it's not top level. It's not.
No, but
I like Shayna. I'm a big fan. You know I'm a big fan. I got the action figure for my son. I love Shayna Baszler, right?
Right.
I respect everything she's done in mixed martial arts. I have tremendous respect for her. She's a pioneer of women's MMA. Respect. Of MMA, period. However, I don't think she cuts a good promo.
I think it's hit or miss sometimes, but I mean, she's still
Yeah,
kind of
and
new.
Becky Lynch is one of the greatest promos in the WWE. She's probably the best. Is there anybody cutting a better promo than Becky right now in all of WWE? That promo, maybe AJ Styles.
I was just going to actually say that. I didn't know if you were just going to lead into AJ Styles Undertaker, but yes, to me that was maybe the best moment of Raw was AJ Styles.
Moment of the week.
I don't know. AEW, there's some good moments too. It's tough to say.
What beat the AJ promo on AEW this week?
Jericho had some great moments.
When he called the Elite Pumpkinhead dip stuffs. I can't say it. Jericho's swearing a lot.
Yeah, he does.
You Pumpkinhead dipped. That was really good. That was a good line. Is that what you liked? Is that?
I just like that and the whole like them taking out the Elite.
Yeah,
I thought it was really well done.
it was good.
The match was good too.
Mm-hmm. Jericho's great. I thought AJ Styles was fantastic this week. We're going to talk about AJ Styles and that promo, what he said about The Undertaker. He said things about The Undertaker that no one has ever done. Also, Edge upset me this week. I can't believe on this day that Edge upset me, but he did.
And you see clearly.
On this day, Edge upset me. That's not the words?
On this day, I see clearly.
Oh, you're right, John. I was messing with you. I know.
Okay.
It's Wrestling Uncensored, everybody. Stay with us on the radio side here. When we come back, we'll talk about that AJ Styles promo. We'll talk about MVP showing up on Raw. We'll talk about why Edge upset me. And we'll also talk about what's going on in AEW. They've got a big match, and they just announced the participants and the rules for Blood and Guts. And is Daniel Bryan trying to send signals to AEW? We'll talk about that and more when we come back. Wrestling Uncensored.
Commercial time.
We are still here. It's time to read commercials. You need Stitcher in your life because Corona keeps you at home. So Stitcher will keep you entertained.
That's good to know. It's a good song, too.
Thank you. I wrote it myself. I freestyled it just there. You're welcome.
Still waiting for that rap album.
You want me to release a rap album?
You said you were releasing a rap album.
Yeah, I think that was mostly a joke. I don't even know if I believe that. Should I release a rap album?
With AJ, yes.
Me and AJ? Oh, that'd be great.
Amazing.
That would be really good, actually. Yeah. I mean, it would be terrible, but you'd like it, at least.
I listened to it, at least.
Yeah. Okay, so let's tell you about our friends over at Stitcher. We've been producing podcasts for a long time, and many of you have been using Stitcher to stream or download the shows. Stitcher is offering you a special offer on the premium version of their service as part of the sponsorship with the Ringside Report Network. Now, besides all of our shows, there are over 100,000 podcasts on Stitcher Premium. You can get those on your iPhone, Android, tablet, however you get your podcasts. They have access to Stitcher Originals, bonus episodes, comedy albums, and much more. It'll cost you $4.99 a month or $34.99 a year. But if you go to Stitcher.com/premium right now and use the promo code Ringside, that's Stitcher.com/premium, promo code Ringside, you will get a free month of Stitcher Premium. How about that? Stitcher.com, promo code Stitcher.com/premium, promo code Ringside for a free month of Stitcher Premium. Good deal.
Sweet.
Good deals for you because we love you so much on the Ringside Report Network.
Just show tunes all the time now with you, or what?
I don't know, man. We're singing. We're trying to fill the gaps.
You're
really.
singing.
I'm just doing little songs while I get the commercials, like when I pull up the scripts for myself so I could read the commercials. That's really what it is.
Yeah, what floats your boat?
Okay. Whatever floats your boat, Johnny North.
I should say AJ more, so you just say AJ songs.
I'm not singing about AJ.
Aw, boo.
No. Okay, IP Vanish. These days, security on the internet is a great concern. Identity fraud, theft, privacy are serious issues, and you need a VPN. Now, we've been using IPVanish for a few years, and we like it a lot. We've got it on our phones. We've got it on everything that we have, our Amazon Fire Stick, our laptops. There's hackers out there that are trying to get your information. They're trying to get your credit card info, your passwords. So much is stored. You need to have a VPN. What you need to do is go to vpn.ringsidereport.net to sign up for IPVanish.
You need that.
You need a VPN. You need to stay safe on the internet. Johnny North has it. I have it. AJ still hasn't figured out how it works. Freddie knows exactly how it works. He's got it. Everybody's got IPVanish. We're using it. We're safe on the internet. We want you to stay safe as well. So you go to vpn.ringsidereport.net, put it on your phone. You need it right now. IPVanish.
To be fair, I think AJ said you're supposed to help him with it, so.
I'm supposed to help him?
Yeah.
Well, that's not my job.
You're supposed to be like his guiding light in life, no?
How's that my job?
I thought you were his guiding light.
He's his own guiding light.
Okay.
He's got to deal with himself. AJ. All right, John. Should we get back into the professional wrestling?
Let's get professional.
You pumpkinhead dipshit. Sorry, I just wanted to say it during the commercial break because, you know, we're going to go back on the radio.
You can say it right now.
Because we're going to go back on the radio version of this show, so I can't swear. So I just wanted to say pumpkinhead dipshit a couple times.
Pop yourself. It's
Pumpkinhead dipshit. What a great line. The Elite are just a bunch of pumpkinhead dipshits. So I was like, oh, shit. Jericho swears a lot.
You got to make sure your son's not listening to that stuff.
Yeah, he's not allowed to watch AEW. I told you last week.
I thought he watched the main event, didn't he?
He could watch, a little bit here or there, but if they start
Because it has the Elite.
if they start swearing, you know, I turn it off.
Because he likes the Bucks.
Who doesn't like the Young Bucks? All right, welcome back. It's Wrestling Uncensored. I'm Dave Simon. He is Johnny North. RingsideReport.net is the website. Go there. Check us out online. We have so much stuff going on there. UFC 248 was last weekend. We did a live watch-along. We did a live watch-along for Elimination Chamber. Dave and Johnny Live airs every single Friday afternoon. We're live. We take your questions and comments. You can super chat. If you're watching this on the premiere version on YouTube, super chat us. Keep us going. Thank you for supporting the Ringside Report Network, Wrestling Uncensored, and everything that we do. We are here, and we have still much more professional wrestling to talk about. There was wrestling this week. The coronavirus hadn't slowed down the wrestling business yet, but it definitely has started to hit professional wrestling, and we'll see what happens next week if there are even shows.
I hope there is.
Oh, me too. I hope everything's fine, but you never know. So, on the show this week, on Monday Night Raw, AJ Styles with a tremendous promo on The Undertaker. So The Undertaker at Super Showdown came out and he chokeslammed AJ Styles and he beat him and he took that trophy after AJ had wrestled a long gauntlet match. Undertaker took his shine. And then AJ was wrestling Aleister Black at Elimination Chamber. Undertaker shows up, attacks him, helps Aleister Black beat AJ Styles. So AJ Styles is mad. Now, AJ starts talking about The Undertaker on Raw. He starts talking about Undertaker losing to Roman Reigns at WrestleMania 3 years ago and how he laid his jacket and his hat in the ring as if he was retiring. And AJ says Taker should have probably retired when Brock ended his streak, but he didn't. And it looked like he was retiring 3 years ago, and it was a beautiful moment, and The Undertaker ruined it. AJ says 10 to 15 years ago, he might have hesitated to call out The Undertaker, but not anymore. AJ says he doesn't see the Phenom. He sees a broken-down old man named Mark Calloway.
Ouch.
And he also then takes aim at Mark's wife, Michelle McCool, former WWE wrestler, says Undertaker should have retired 10 years ago when he was in his prime, and that his wife, Michelle McCool, is the reason that Taker keeps wrestling because everything she wants, she gets. So it's the money that Taker is after. AJ says Michelle is the most conniving person he has ever met, and he tells The Undertaker that his wife is going to run him into the ground. And you know what, Taker? AJ's going to help her. AJ says he's going to make sure Taker dies in the ring at WrestleMania. He's going to take Undertaker's soul at WrestleMania. And then AJ says he's going to do what Taker's wife wants him to do, and that's put an end to The Undertaker and end his life. AJ officially challenges Undertaker to a match. AJ says Undertaker has already lost his dignity, his pride, his mystique, and now he's just a broken old man. All AJ Styles words on Raw this week. Powerful, powerful promo from AJ, and a lot of those things have been said about The Undertaker in recent years, that he's broken down, that he's old, that he can no longer hang in the wrestling ring, and that he shows up for the paycheck. And AJ saying that he's not showing up for that paycheck for himself, but he's doing it for his wife Michelle, who demands that he goes out and makes that money. I don't know that to be true. What I do know to be true is that Undertaker 10 years ago was far better than he is right now, and I think that he has done damage to his legacy as a great professional wrestler by continuing as long as he has. And I think he should have retired a while ago. And I hope that this build, this promo, is the beginning of the end. And it will be finally, if Mania does happen on April 5th, finally a retirement match for The Undertaker.
For me, this felt like Dave Simon talking to The Undertaker, because it seems like...
Wasn't it great?
A lot of what you've said the last 2 years, pretty much, about The Undertaker. A lot of negative things you said about The Undertaker, and it seems like it all came out. So WWE's done the great idea of pretty much just taking what's said on the internet and putting it on their television, because that's what's going to get people to react.
I mean, what's said on Wrestling Uncensored?
Yes. But, I mean, it was put on Twitter. I'm not
on the
mistaken.
Voice of the Voiceless.
Right. Well, you're not CM Punk, but, you know, you're close.
I'm the real Voice of the Voiceless. He's a corporate suck.
I disagree with that.
Okay. WWE backstage announcer, CM Punk. Hey, Punk, what do you think about Raw? I thought it was great, pal.
Didn't he give it like an F+ or something one time?
Yeah, whatever. Oh, I'm on your show, but I'm going to say it sucks because I'm edgy. Come on. He doesn't even watch. What does he know?
Well, he's not even on right now. So.
Exactly. WWE backstage has halted production.
For the best.
Yeah.
But either way, this was a great promo, because like no one ever does this about The Undertaker. Usually you have to be respectful, and the fact that AJ was pretty much blunt about everything he said and says...
He was honest.
Yeah. No one ever says that kind of stuff. No one mentions Michelle McCool, that he's even The Undertaker's wife.
She's even The Undertaker's wife. And Undertaker being called out by name, Mark Calloway. When does that happen?
Maybe once or twice.
Maybe with Triple H at some point. I feel like Triple H called him Mark, and then Undertaker called Triple H Paul. Like they were like,
right, yeah.
Hey, Mark. Oh yeah, Paul. Don't call me Mark, Paul.
But I think this would be really cool if Michelle gets involved, because we've never seen her get involved with the Undertaker storylines.
Ooh, is Michelle getting involved? First, Beth Phoenix gets involved in Edge's storyline, and now Michelle shows up. Do you think Michelle shows up instead of Taker and like slaps AJ Styles?
It's kind of too much like Edge if that happens, but I hope she gets involved in some capacity. She does do AJ Styles' finisher.
Do you think there's heat?
100%.
Because Michelle McCool, when she wrestled in WWE, did the Styles Clash, and at the time, AJ was wrestling in TNA.
I feel like
he stole AJ's finisher, and I don't know. Didn't he say something like, "Oh, she does it terribly"? Like, didn't he?
Yeah, something like that. I forget
Maybe there's heat with AJ and Michelle because she stole his finish. Like he was doing it in TNA, and she just outright stole it and called it like the Angel's Wings in WWE.
She's not the first one to steal a wrestling move, though.
Did she call it Angel's Wings? That was Daniel's move, right?
Right.
But what did Michelle call it?
I forget what she called it.
Doesn't matter.
She called
Styles
something.
Clash. We know what it is.
But yeah, it'd be cool.
AJ invented that, right?
As far as I know.
He's the first guy. He popularized it at least. He's the first guy I ever saw do it.
Pretty sure he invented it. But either way, like to see Michelle McCool get involved in this, I think that's what people want to see. And from what it seems like so far, they're giving people what they want in the storyline.
AJ should have said something about her stealing his move.
I think it's going to come up.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Start showing, like, hey, here's Michelle McCool wrestling. Start showing pictures. Boom, Styles Clash. Boom, Styles Clash. Hey, Michelle, where'd you get that move from? Stole it from old AJ, old Uncle Alan.
Well, she can bring up the fact that she wanted to be more like AJ than like her husband, because she didn't do like a chokeslam or tombstone. She took AJ's move instead.
Okay.
Oh, and just say that she was always a fan deep down, you know.
Always a thief.
She always liked AJ more than Undertaker.
Oh, AJ could say that.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Doing the writing for them.
Okay. So AJ Styles Undertaker 1-on-1 is going to happen at WrestleMania. Despite your protests, I've been telling you on the show that it was going to happen for months now. And Johnny North was like, no, it's going to be something else. It's going to be this, going to be that. And I was like, no. It's going to be AJ and Taker. Watch. It's going to happen. Told you. Once again.
I'm disappointed.
I'm always right, John. Never argue with me.
You're not always right, but AJ was right the last couple of weeks, actually. You're slipping, actually, a little bit.
What do you mean he was right?
He was right, like, I think his parlay, like, he was right for a little bit. Like, you were off in one of your matches.
No, man. AJ lost money. He didn't win any bets for the fights on Saturday, and I won money. So
yeah,
who's right?
You voted on one fight, that's why.
Yeah, I made money. I made a smart pick. I'm more correct than AJ is. I'm the most correct person on the Ringside Report Network. All right. Moving on. Rey Mysterio beat Angel Garza this week. I thought it was a solid match on Raw, and it got me thinking, what is the U.S. title match at WrestleMania, if there's WrestleMania? So it's Andrade as the U.S. champion, probably Humberto Carrillo, Rey Mysterio, Angel Garza, maybe Ricochet, maybe Aleister Black in a ladder match?
I say just do Rey and Andrade. It's a good match.
Come on, we've seen it so much. This is WrestleMania. You got to do something a little bit bigger, a little spicier.
I think it's a very good match. You can still do that at WrestleMania.
Rey Andrade 1-on-1. It's been done to death.
We saw Rey and Eddie Guerrero for so many times, and then, we'll just put it at WrestleMania. They're tag team champions. They'll wrestle WrestleMania. It'd be cool. They just do stuff like that where it's like, it's a cool match. Just put it on WrestleMania.
No, don't like it.
Fine.
Let's do a ladder match. No ladder match?
Yeah, I don't know about
ladder
that.
match for the U.S. title. Come on, WWE. Give me a 6-man, 8-man ladder match.
I feel like we always ask for that, and they never give it to us every
Sometimes
year.
Sometimes they do.
Yeah, they gave us the Zack Ryder one, right?
Yeah, more than that. Daniel Bryan.
But this has been years now.
Yeah.
You don't get it every year.
I think they should do it this year. How about the SmackDown Championship match? Bayley, SmackDown champion. Who does she defend against? Multi-women? Like Naomi, Lacey, Sasha, Fatal 4-Way?
Well, keep your eyes peeled to SmackDown because Paige is going to be there. So Paige is going to introduce somebody. So,
like who?
I have no idea.
Somebody that'll be ready for Mania?
Boy, is Paige coming back?
No, really?
I have no idea.
That'd be cool. I hope so. Paige Bayley 1-on-1 for Mania would be pretty sweet. Imagine Paige is like ready to come back and, medically cleared, everything's ready, and then there's no WrestleMania. Like Edge, Edge is this whole storyline, everything that's been building, great stuff with Randy Orton, and this is all building towards Mania, and then maybe there's no Mania. It sucks for Edge.
It sucks because, in my opinion, Edge, Randy Orton, that's the true main event of WrestleMania right now. That's the match I look forward to the most.
If Taker's retiring, though, I say put them on last. Like, if it's for sure that Taker's retiring, AJ Styles will give his body and more to that match. That match will be incredible, and I think that it should be the last match. Like, if it is for sure the last time we see Undertaker, put him on last.
I think given the circumstances right now, it's definitely nothing's for sure right now, so.
Yeah. Well, we don't know. But Randy Orton and Edge had a little deal this week. MVP was running down Washington, D.C., doing a heel thing. He's on the microphone now. And he said he wanted to build a stable, and he wanted Edge in his stable. And then Edge got into the ring and called out Randy Orton. And then MVP's like, hey, you're focusing on the wrong thing. You should be listening to me. And by the way, how's your wife? Because she got RKO'd the last week by Randy. So Edge hit the spear on MVP, which, like, by the way, Roman Reigns and Goldberg, they have a spear versus spear match. When Roman's done with Goldberg, Edge better watch out doing those spears,
The draft, watch out.
Watch out. So Randy Orton shows up. He starts fighting with Edge. Edge hits the RKO on Randy, and then Edge goes for a concerto, but Randy escapes.
Thankfully.
And then Edge does a standing arm triangle choke, the same finisher that Jack Swagger or Jake Hager's using in AEW, the same finisher that I demonstrated on Johnny North last week, and I explained why it would never work standing up.
Yet he did it.
I had an arm triangle choke applied to me this week. Somebody was trying to arm triangle me, but he was in my half guard.
Okay.
Couldn't finish it in my half guard. And I knew if I held on to my half guard, he wouldn't be able to finish the hold. If he was able to pass my half guard and get into side control or even full mount, he would have been able to finish the hold. Because an arm triangle is very specific. You need very specific points of leverage to finish that hold. And if you're not in the proper position, good luck finishing the move. So I maintained my half guard, and I was able to wiggle out and escape the arm triangle attempt that was put upon me. And afterwards, I thought, arm triangle. See, you really need the right position. You can't be doing it standing. So Jake Hager's doing it standing in AEW. I don't know why. He knows better. Edge, I don't know if he knows better. But hey, he's doing a standing arm triangle choke. Did it to MVP. And I was like, what? What? Did he listen to the show last week? Like, he's just trying to troll me? What's going on here?
Well, to be fair, Brock, when he beat Carwin, I feel like it wasn't a proper choke as well, but he still got
it was
to win.
Totally proper. It was in side control. It was exact. It was textbook.
He didn't sprawl though, but
yeah, he was flat.
You sure he was flat? I don't
He
remember
was
him being
totally
pretty
flat. His hips were down on the mat.
I'd have to watch it.
He was
again.
on his belly.
I'd have to watch it again.
He was belly down, flat, had him crushed.
I felt it was desperation, but
Look, the way Brock did it was in the right position because it was in the UFC and it worked. Had he not been in the right position, it would not have worked. I know how these moves work. I know how these things actually squeeze. And, unless you have a stupid squeeze, like your squeeze, you might just get somebody to tap because they feel like their head's going to pop off. They're not choking. The air's not going away. But because you're so strong, yeah, they might just say, oh, okay, stop, because my head's going to pop off. But somebody who knows what they're doing, they're going to be able to wiggle out. They're going to find a little bit of space. They might feel a little bit sore on their neck or whatever, but they're not going to choke unconscious, right? And that's what a choke is for. A choke is to put you to sleep. And if you're not applying that choke correctly, you're not putting anybody to sleep, and that's the situation in AEW. They're not applying that thing correctly. AEW, WWE, both companies right now, Edge and Jake Hager. It doesn't make sense, but you know what? It doesn't really matter, okay? It doesn't matter. Edge is back. Edge is going to wrestle Randy Orton in 3 weeks at WrestleMania if WrestleMania happens. Here I am complaining about standing arm triangles, and we got the coronavirus going on. Priorities, right? I mean, what's going on? Doesn't matter.
Well, it's just kind of cool how Jake Hager has legitimized a move that's like not a true move in your opinion, so that's kind of cool. And it's carrying over.
Why is that cool?
Well, it's carrying over into other feds now, so it's like he's creating a bad trend in a sense.
Yeah. Riddick Moss beat Cedric Alexander this week. I found out that Cedric Alexander is married to Big Swole this week on AEW. I didn't know that. Yeah,
they've mentioned that on their dark episodes.
Big Swole and Britt Baker cut a good promo on AEW Dynamite this week. Britt Baker said something about Big Swole, saying the only wrestler people care about in your household is your boyfriend. And then Big Swole goes, I'm married, baby, making a reference to Britt Baker's boyfriend, who's Adam Cole. And then I also heard people were like saying that she was also making reference to the fact that Britt Baker and Adam Cole are not married, and she is. I don't know. There was some sort of thing. Well, I think she was just talking about Adam Cole. People were reading into it in all sorts of different ways online, but like whatever.
I mean, you can look at it that way. Sure, if she's married and she isn't, but whatever.
Yeah,
who cares?
Some people care about that type of stuff. I don't really know. Nyla Rose and B. Priestley beat Hikaru Shida and Chris Statlander in a tag team match playa, and I thought the match was pretty good.
It was all right.
Nyla Rose took a hell of a huracan rana.
The problem is, like, Priestley hasn't been there in a while, so it's hard to really care about her because, like, apparently she moved to Japan. So,
that makes sense.
Come back.
She's her boyfriend is Will Ospreay.
Right, that's cool and everything.
Who wrestles in New Japan Pro Wrestling, which is not happening right now.
Right. But if she's going to go back to Japan all the time, you think she's going to come back to the U.S. all the time?
I don't know. I wouldn't go back to Japan at this point if you can wrestle in the States. I think Will Ospreay's locked into a contract full-time with New Japan, so he can't really go anywhere. New Japan Pro Wrestling, by the way, they, like, a while ago, back in February, they shut down.
Right.
They said they were going to shut down from the 1st to the 15th of March. They shut down all month. The New Japan Cup is just not happening. I don't know when New Japan Pro Wrestling is going to resume, but not anytime soon.
That sucks because you pay for that stuff.
That's correct.
Now you get nothing.
Well, they're doing stuff, the interviews and different shows. They're trying to keep it entertaining, but, like, I pay for the wrestling. I don't really pay for their weird chats.
Well, yeah, I mean, you want to see the matches.
Yeah. So, whatever. I'm going to keep paying because I support New Japan. It's fine.
Well, you hope eventually things will
They'll
work
be
out.
back.
Yeah.
They'll be back. Everything will be back. Everything will be back to normal one day. I believe. All right, Johnny North?
Hope.
I believe. I have hope. MJF, the Butcher, and the Blade beat the Jurassic Express. MJF getting Marco Stunt to tap out with a Fujiwara armbar. Totally legit submission. Totally legit the way he pulled it off. No problems there.
That was a fantastic match.
That
stole
was
the
great.
show. Stole the show.
Match of the night, right?
Yeah, probably maybe the week too. It was really good.
Was it match of the week?
I mean, it's that or Ray against Garza, which was also very good too. But
I'd say that was better.
This had people were much more into this one. It felt like.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. The AEW match, the MJF, Butcher, and the Blade. They're a good team. Jurassic Express, they're a great team. I like that. I like the 6-man at the end of the show too. The guys from the Inner Circle, and then against
Death Triangle.
Oh no, yeah, sorry, the Death Triangle against the who were they again? The Private Party and Joey Janela. That was the match too. Right?
It was all right, but I mean, it's really hard to follow up what you just saw before, though.
Yeah,
they had some good moments, but it's tough because, like, Jurassic Express, in my opinion, they're one of the most over teams, and they haven't really had a chance to showcase themselves.
Yeah,
but they did there.
I think that those three guys are really, really talented, and seeing what they're able to do, like not just Marco Stunt and Jungle Boy, the high-flying stuff, but that one dive that Luchasaurus did to the outside, when he stepped on the second rope and like flipped over the top rope, that was bananas, man. That guy is quite an athlete. How did WWE let that guy go?
Well, he didn't have the gimmick at the time, if I'm not mistaken.
I guess, but...
And you just have a lot of guys who are like cookie cutter, so if they all kind of look the same, whatever, it's like, well, we got to cut the fat a little bit, and it's like, well, he's not standing out, so... Stuff like that happens. It's unfortunate. They just made the wrong call, clearly, and he proved them wrong, so that's kind of awesome.
Now, AEW has a big show coming up in a couple of weeks. That should happen.
We
right?
hope, yes.
AEW Blood and Guts. It will be 2 rings, 1 gigantic steel cage. It will be the Elite, led by Cody Rhodes, Kenny Omega, the Young Bucks, and Hangman Page.
Right.
Even though Hangman doesn't seem like he wants to be in the Elite, he's still technically in the Elite.
Right.
Versus the Inner Circle, Chris Jericho, Sammy Guevara, Ortiz, Santana, and Jake Hager.
It's big.
Now, Nick Jackson hasn't wrestled since the pay-per-view.
He was there, though,
at Revolution. He was there, but he was like under a door, supposedly beat up already from the Inner Circle, but not really, right? So he hasn't been physically active on AEW TV since the pay-per-view.
Well, Kenny has a broken hand.
Right. So will the Elite guys, if the show actually does happen in 2 weeks in Jacksonville because of coronavirus, who knows?
Right.
Will the Elite guys really be in that? Like, will Kenny and Nick Jackson be in this match?
I think they will be, because in this kind of match, you can kind of hide it if someone's hurt or something, because there's so many coming in at a time. There's a lot going on, so they don't have to do too much.
Will Dustin Rhodes maybe take the place of one of them? Because Dustin's been helping out the Elite quite a bit.
Right. But I feel like
Dustin may slide into this match.
Yeah, but it's tough, because if you put all your eggs in one basket, you kind of got to fill up the rest of your basket. because you still have more time, right?
I think it would be cool for Dustin to be in the match, just to have somebody in this match that was in one of the real War Games matches.
I get that.
In WCW, baby.
Yeah, that's
where the big
cool.
boys play.
That's cool. But it's also cool that Cody gets to be in the first one, too, as well. And he's probably going to be the number one entrant, I imagine.
So it's going to be 2 men entering the cage, so 1 from each team.
Mm-hmm.
And then that's going to take 5 minutes. They're going to be in there for 5 minutes. So 2 guys start for 5 minutes, and then another guy comes in.
Right.
So it's going to be 2-on-1, like War Game style, you know?
Yep.
And then 2 minutes after that, another guy comes in from the other team, and then back and forth.
And the match only officially starts once everyone is finally in the cages.
What does that mean, the match only officially starts?
Oh, you can't end the match. You can't win the match.
Oh, you
before.
can't win the match until everybody has entered the match.
That's correct.
Well, that makes sense.
Well, in other war games, sometimes they change the rules up, actually. So.
Okay. Well, I like the rules for Blood and Guts. I'm looking forward to the cage match. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. This thing between the Elite and the Inner Circle has been building for a long time.
Right.
To have them all together in a 10-man tag, that's massive. That's a really smart move. When they announced this Blood and Guts concept, we're like, okay, who's going to be in this match? And then when they said it's going to be the Elite versus the Inner Circle, it's like, yeah, that's about right. That makes sense.
But also, like, you can't win this match by pinfall. It's only by surrender, or if the refs decide that you can no longer continue. That's the only way to win.
You can't win by pinfall?
Because this is the original War Games kind of rules.
Surrender?
Well, surrender is tap out, right?
So if one guy taps out, it's over?
Yes.
Okay, so if they get Ortiz to tap out, the Elite can win.
But say if the ref decides, like, oh, this guy can't continue, the match is over too. It's thrown out.
If one guy can't continue.
Right.
Wow. Okay. AEW Blood and Guts. Did you catch Daniel Bryan's post-Elimination Chamber promo where he said blood and guts like 4 times?
I caught a little bit of it.
That's not an accident. He knows what he's doing.
Yeah, but I feel like it's more for Vince. I don't know if it's so much for AEW.
What do you mean for Vince?
Because didn't Vince say, like, oh, we're not about blood and guts? He said that, I think, on a conference
Vince
call.
is like, he told investors at one point, we don't do that blood and guts stuff. That's what AEW does, those other companies. They do that blood and guts. So AEW's like, yeah, sure, we do the blood and guts. Here's our big event. Guess what we're going to call it, Vince? Blood and Guts. And Daniel Bryan cuts his promo. He's like, I like blood and guts. I like tough wrestling. And Drew Gulak, he brought out the blood and guts. And if we're not counting Elimination Chamber, I guess you could give the match of the week to the Jurassic Express versus MJF, Butcher, and Blade. But if we are counting Elimination Chamber, I'm sorry, but Daniel Bryan and Drew Gulak win the week. That match was the best match at the Chamber and the best match that we've seen all week. One of the best matches all year. Daniel Bryan is the best, and once again, the world was reminded of it at Elimination Chamber. That's what I liked. Everybody remembered, oh yeah, Daniel Bryan is the best wrestler in the world today, and maybe the WWE should treat him way better. Maybe we should be supporting him just like we did 4 or 5 years ago.
I feel for WrestleMania, though. I know you suggested Daniel Bryan, Sami Zayn for the Intercontinental Championship. I'm thinking maybe you put Daniel Bryan and Drew Gulak going for the SmackDown Tag Team titles.
Against
Miz and Morrison.
Miz and Morrison?
There's heat there with Daniel Bryan and Miz. I think it works.
I'd rather Bryan and Sami one-on-one for the Intercontinental title.
I like the story that they could do with Drew Gulak and Daniel Bryan.
Really?
Yeah.
What's the story?
It's Daniel Bryan wants to learn from Drew Gulak, and Drew Gulak
Drew is helping him.
Yeah.
And in the process, Drew gets better too.
Exactly. I think it's a great story.
How come they got 2 guys named Drew on the roster?
Different shows, though. It's fine.
And Luke Gallows used to be called Drew too, didn't he?
Really? I didn't know that.
Wasn't he like Drew? Oh, no. Maybe that was Drew Galloway.
Okay.
Who was...
Yes, that's
Drew McIntyre.
Exactly.
Yeah, I got confused. Too many. 2 guys named Drew is like, that's too many. 1 guy named Drew is okay. 2 Drews, it's like, one of you guys got to be Andrew or something.
Well, they had to change.
That's what Drew is short for, right?
I believe so. But they had to change, like, Steve, right? Like Stevie Richards. They had Steve Austin.
Yeah.
Steven Regal.
Yeah. So you got to be Andy.
Well, William is
You're
what
Andy Gulak. Or you're just Gulak. I mean, they take away the first names all the time, right? Buddy Murphy just became Murphy. Gulak should just be Gulak. I liked when he was Gaba Gulak with Enzo Amore. That was my
good.
favorite incarnation of Drew Gulak. The Gaba Gulak. Gabagool. Gaba Gulak. Fantastic.
But yeah, I think they're going to make him into a star, hopefully.
Well, if they're going to make him into a star and really invest time into him, you know that he's just going to be called Gulak from here on in.
We'll wait and see.
Gulak. Gulak. It's easier to chant than Drew Gulak. Drew Gulak. Nobody wants to hear that. Gulak. He's Gulak. Who is he? It's Gulak. That should be part of Daniel Bryan's rebranding of Gulak, you know? Show him, like, look, man, this Drew thing's not going to work. There's already a Drew, and he's really over. He's wrestling Brock. You're not going to be the most famous Drew, but you can be the most famous Gulak.
It's not a bad idea.
I'm telling you, man. I got ideas for days for the WWE. Hire me, Vince. But, I mean, don't listen to the beginning of the show because I did say you should stop all business for the next couple of weeks. So
Yeah,
he wouldn't like that. He wouldn't like that too much, you know. But
screw this guy.
listen, pal, sometimes you got to bite the bullet and do what's tough. You can do things the easy way or the hard way.
Well, he got the F out. That was tough.
Yeah. Oh, that was his idea. You didn't watch Ruthless
Right,
Aggression?
yeah. I'm sorry, I didn't see the propaganda.
No, that was Vince's whole plan. That was
Rebranding, yes.
oh, we just need to stop being WWF. We need to do E. Let's rebrand WWE. Yeah. Oh, what about the World Wildlife Fund? What are you talking about? I never heard about that. Shut up, pal. Stick these grapefruits in your face. All right, Johnny. When's your next match? When can people see you in the ring?
Well,
Well, maybe never. I don't know.
well, maybe never.
Well,
yeah.
soon, but like, when is your next scheduled match? When could people possibly see you in the ring if it remains legal?
I'm hoping March 29th, Torture Chamber Pro Wrestling. Hoping it's going to happen in Montreal North.
Doubtful.
We'll wait and see. You know, keep updated with me on Twitter at North Genesis, and you'll know.
Okay. Follow him on Twitter at North Genesis. Follow him on Instagram at Genesis Johnny North. You could follow me on all the things at Dave Simon MMA. RingsideReport.net is the website. We will continue on with coverage of the UFC, with coverage of everything in MMA, everything in professional wrestling, AEW, WWE. We will not stop. As long as the WWE and AEW and the UFC, they continue to do shows, we're going to continue to do shows. And even if they stop doing shows, we'll probably continue to do shows. So check us out online, ringsidereport.net. Like the video, leave a comment, subscribe to the YouTube channel. Thank you to everybody for watching and listening. Thanks to everybody helping us out on the radio side. For Johnny North, I am Dave Simon. Stay safe, wash your hands, take care, brush your hair, don't talk to strangers. We love you big time. This has been Wrestling Uncensored. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.